from our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aylia Batool. A Tufts University PhD student is in ICE custody after being detained near her home. Advocates call it political repression. Officials cite unproven security claims. The controversy is growing. This and more coming up in today's show. President Donald Trump has warned of more tariffs on Europe and Canada after ordering a 25% duty on all foreign-made cars and light trucks. The new tariffs will take effect on April 2nd, with collections beginning the following day. Trump claims the move is aimed at protecting American jobs and industries, accusing foreign nations of exploiting the U.S. through unfair trade. He declared that if the European Union and Canada unite to harm the U.S. economy, they will face even larger tariffs. In a late-night post, he said both regions should remember the U.S. is the best friend they have ever had. Trump defended the decision, calling it modest and long overdue. He claimed allies and rivals have taken advantage of the U.S. for years. The new levy will apply only to vehicles not made in the United States. However, critics say the plan could backfire, as many cars built in America rely on imported parts. Trump promised very strong policing to enforce the order. The move heightens tensions over global trade, with fears of a wider tariff war looming. The White House has confirmed that the secure messaging app Signal is approved for government use, even after a major recent security blunder. Editor of The Atlantic magazine Jeffrey Goldberg was accidentally added to a Signal group chat on which top U.S. officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, discussed plans to strike Houthi targets in Yemen. This was hours before the March 15th attack. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt called the chat a sensitive policy discussion, but insists that no classified material or war plans were shared. She called Goldberg an anti-Trump hater and blamed a mishap for which National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has taken responsibility. The White House counsel is investigating how the journalist's number got added. Billionaire Trump donor Elon Musk, who President Donald Trump has appointed to the Unofficial Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, had offered tech help to trace the error. Despite bipartisan outrage over the breach, Trump still backs his national security team. However, Democrats, including Senator Mark Warner, have demanded resignations. The White House dismissed the story as a hoax and continues to claim that Signal remains a safe, encrypted way to communicate when officials can't meet in secure rooms. But Goldberg posted the entire transcript of the group chat that's now gone viral on social media. The Trump administration has halted green card processing for some refugees and asylum seekers. The move is part of a broader plan to tighten immigration screening. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services have been directed to pause green card approvals for those already granted refugee or asylum status. A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson claims the move is a temporary pause to allow more vetting. This follows President Donald Trump's recent executive order to maximize screening of all immigrants, especially from high-risk regions. Experts say the process was already strict. Now it's getting tougher. Applicants must now also submit their social media details for review. Laura Collins from the Bush Institute says these delays affect people who have already cleared multiple security checks. She added that similar moves by Trump in the past overwhelmed the system. Immigration vetting costs tripled under Trump during his first term, from $53 million in 2016 to $149 million in 2020. Last week, the administration gave more than 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela just 30 days to leave the U.S. or face deportation. Officials claimed this was due to fraud and weak initial checks. Masked U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE agents, detained a Muslim PhD student at Tufts University from near her Somerville, Massachusetts home. Rumeysa Öztürk, who is in the U.S. on a valid student visa from Turkey, was taken into custody Tuesday while heading to an iftar dinner to break her Ramadan fast. The Fulbright scholar studying child development reportedly had a valid F1 visa status. Her lawyer, Masa Khanbabai, says she has not been charged with any crime, but remains in custody. A federal judge has granted Hijabi's petition to prevent her transfer out of Massachusetts. However, this was issued after she was already taken by ICE to a Louisiana detention facility. Boston's WCVB5 reports that Khanbabai did not initially know the location of her client and did not speak to her until Wednesday at 9:45 p.m. The Department of Homeland Security alleges that Ozturk supports Hamas, but has provided no evidence. Her arrest comes amid increasing pressure on students and academics in the U.S. protesting for a free Palestine. Activists link her detention to her outspoken criticism of Israel. Ozturk's detention follows a campaign by Canary Mission, a pro-Israel website that blacklists Palestine supporters. In 2024, Ozturk co-authored an op-ed in the Tufts University newspaper urging the school to acknowledge the Palestinian genocide and to divest from companies with ties to Israel. Ozturk's brother called the arrest a witch hunt, citing her academic activism and Muslim identity. Tufts University said it was unaware of the detention beforehand and is offering her legal support. A viral video shows ICE agents handcuffing her as she spoke to her mother. Advocates warn that her case reflects a troubling trend of silencing free Palestine voices in academia. Rights groups and U.S. lawmakers are slamming Ozturk's detention. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib called it a case of abduction and warned of wider government repression. Senator Elizabeth Warren said the Trump administration is targeting students with legal status and silencing dissent. Meanwhile, an Iranian doctoral student at the University of Alabama has been detained by U.S. immigrant officials. The student, identified by campus newspaper The Crimson White as Ali Raza Daroudi, was arrested at his home early Tuesday. The university said the arrest occurred off campus and citing federal privacy laws and declined to provide further details. More than 1,000 people gathered on Wednesday evening to support her during an emergency rally near the school. The U.S. has added 80 foreign entities to its export blacklist to protect national security. The move targets companies from China, UAE, South Africa, Iran, Taiwan, and others. The U.S. Commerce Department claims these groups are involved in activities that threaten U.S. interests. China's efforts in quantum tech, military training, and hypersonic weapons are key concerns. The Test Flying Academy of South Africa is accused of training Chinese military forces. Iran's drone and missile-related programs are also under the spotlight. Washington aims to block U.S. tech from aiding military buildup in rival nations. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the U.S. won't allow its technology to be used against Americans. Undersecretary Jeffrey Kessler claims the list helps stop adversaries from exploiting U.S. innovation. Officials say the blacklist is vital to keep sensitive technology out of the wrong hands. Muslims worldwide observed Laylat al-Qadr, the holiest night in Islam. From Syria to Pakistan, mosques were filled with prayers and devotion. A night of power, mercy, and unity. See how it was marked across the globe. This and more after the break.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm right here. This is the largest refugee camp in the whole world. Rohingya people facing genocide from Burma live here without much hope. And their hope is connected with you. When I went up and down the hills of the refugee camp, they keep asking, can you rescue us from here? Can we go to America? Can we go somewhere else? I cannot raise my children here. Burma Task Force speaks for them. Please donate now. Support us, support those people who are survivors of genocide.
Welcome back. The French Council of the Muslim Faith, or CFCM, has strongly condemned rising political and media attacks on women who wear the headscarf. The group says Muslim women are facing growing insecurity, including verbal and physical assaults. It blames France's toxic debate over banning headscarves in sports for fueling discrimination and stoking fear. CFCM says women in veils are unfairly targeted, often accused of separatism or needing to be liberated. It warns that such attitudes are paternalistic, dangerous, and threaten national unity. The council has criticized what it calls a distorted secularism that seeks to erase Muslim identity. CFCM says the climate of suspicion now even blames Ramadan for issues like fasting during matches and egg shortages. The organization has urged restraint and warned against turning women's freedom of dress into a political game. It calls for respect, equal treatment, and an end to scapegoating Muslim women in the name of ideology. Israel killed at least 28 Palestinians as they observed prayers during Laylat al-Qadr and bombed a soup kitchen overnight. Israeli airstrikes pounded homes, tents, and shelters across Gaza and into Thursday during Ramadan's sacred night of power. In northern Gaza, 8 people, including 6 children, were killed when a house was hit. A senior Hamas spokesman, Abdul-Latif al-Qanu, died in a strike on a tent in Jabalia. Near Gaza City, Israel killed 4 children and their parents in another airstrike. 4 more died near a mosque in Nusayrat refugee camp. A nearby soup kitchen was also bombed, killing 5. 2 displaced civilians were killed in a tent in al-Zawaida. In the south, Israeli attacks in Khan Yunis and Rafah killed at least 5 more Palestinians, including civilians. The strikes came as Israel kept Gaza's crossings closed, worsening food shortages across the war-torn strip. The Israeli military resumed its aerial attacks on Gaza on March 18th, ending a ceasefire that has been in place since January 19. Since then, Israel has killed 830 Palestinians and injured nearly 1,800. The UN says over 124,000 more people have been displaced since Israel's attacks resumed. Since October 2023, Israel has killed more than 60,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children, and injured over 113,700. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes. Israel has also faced genocide charges at the International Court of Justice. Allegations of Indian interference have surfaced in Canada's federal elections. The Globe and Mail reports that Indian agents and their proxies supported Pierre Poilievre in his conservative leadership bid. This was allegedly part of a broader effort to build ties with Canadian politicians across the board. Liberal MP Chandra Aylia, who was first elected in 2015, was blocked from joining the Liberal leadership race in January. Earlier this month, he was also told he was ineligible to run again in his electoral district. Aylia was disqualified amid concerns over his relationship with India and concerns he could be susceptible to outside influence. Sudan's Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has declared the country's capital Khartoum free after driving out the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. He landed at the presidential palace for the first time since war broke out nearly 2 years ago. While surrounded by soldiers, he said, "It's over. Khartoum is free." The army says it has regained control of key sites, including the palace, airport, and security headquarters in Khartoum. It has also reclaimed areas in eastern and southern parts of the capital. The RSF downplayed the loss, calling it a tactical repositioning, with one of its advisors claiming that it has moved forces to Omdurman for strategic reasons. RSF control has been shrinking fast across Khartoum and 5 other states. The war, which began in April 2023, has killed more than 20,000 people and displaced 14 million, according to the UN. U.S. researchers estimate the death toll is much higher, around 130,000. Sudanese authorities had earlier shifted the temporary capital to Port Sudan. The international community is urging an end to the conflict, warning of famine and a worsening humanitarian disaster. Muslims across the world observed Laylat al-Qadr, or the Night of Power, on Wednesday and Thursday night, one of the most sacred moments in Islam. In Islamic belief, Laylat al-Qadr is the night when Muslims believe the Quran was first sent down from heaven to earth, and God revealed its first verses to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is considered a night of immense spiritual power, mercy, and blessings. Laylat al-Qadr is seen as a night of divine decree, one that draws Muslims together in worship, prayer, and deep reflection across the globe. In Damascus, Syria, worshippers gathered at the historic Umayyad Mosque and Lail Pasa Mosque, praying deep into the night. Thousands filled the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, UAE, where the atmosphere was of solemn devotion. In Beirut, Lebanon, prayers were held at Amir Mansour Asaf and Muhammad Al-Amin mosques, while Iraq's Kirkuk Mosque also was packed with worshippers. Similar scenes played out in Cairo, where Muslims flocked to the Amr ibn al-As Mosque, and in Kuwait City, where the Grand Mosque was filled with night prayers. In Istanbul, crowds gathered at the Hagia Sophia, and in Berlin, Germany, local mosques hosted special prayers. The spiritual observance extended to Albania's Namazga Mosque in Tirana, Ghazi Husrev Beg Mosque in Bosnia's capital Sarajevo, and the Fatih Sultan Mehmed Mosque in Pristina, Kosovo. While much of the Muslim world marked Laylat al-Qadr, millions in South Asia, including India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, are observing the Night of Power on Thursday and Friday night. Canada has banned Tesla from its electric vehicle rebate program. Authorities have frozen $43 million in suspicious rebates linked to the company. Tesla was also excluded from the Vancouver International Auto Show that opened Wednesday, citing safety concerns. Canadian media reports that 8,600 Teslas were registered within just 3 days at 4 Tesla outlets. Huge fleets of new Model 3 and Model Y cars were seen sitting idle at a strip mall lot in Toronto. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.